Back of Detroit. It'll be Span leading it off with Cabrera, Mauer, Jason Kubel, who's had a good run against the Sox this year, then Kadire, Young, Morales, Tolbert, and Punto hitting ninth and playing second base. The Lowe's defense, and now they're going to line up behind Daniel Hudson, left to right, Quinton Pasednik and Dye in the infield, Beckham, Ramirez, Getz, and Kotsay. A.J. Przinsky behind the plate. And the U.S. Cellular starting pitcher is Daniel Hudson. This is his fourth game, his first start. He's pitched a total of 5 2/3 innings, given up 6 hits. As you can see, he gets the ball over the plate, hasn't walked anybody yet. Left-handers have really struggled with him. The conditions tonight, and it's a beautiful night, 68 degrees, humidity a little bit up there at 77%, winds out of the south at 6 miles an hour, so not much of a factor. And the forecast, it's clearing. And the umpires. Behind the plate, Jim Reynolds at first base, Chad Fairchild at second base, Bill Welke at third base, Tim Welke. And after today, here are the remaining schedules. And the White Sox have 2 more against Minnesota, and then it's 6 with Detroit, sandwiched around 3 at Cleveland. The Twins have to play KC twice, and it means they could see Zach Greinke 2 more times, and that's never real good. And the Tigers have to play us 6, and they have to play 4 against Minnesota in Detroit. It's 7-11, and it's time for the first pitch. Tonight's Game Time Start is presented by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. And now I turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Hawk Harrelson.
Hi, it's Stone Pony. Thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. First of a big 3-game set. If not for us, then for Minnesota. But it could be big for us. And until we get counted out, 10 toes up, this is all we got to go. We're going to go.
Just win them all.
That's it. Ball hit the mound a little bit, just enough to kick it over towards Alexei, so Span is retired. One out. Minnesota comes in hitting at .271 with a 4.53 ERA.
Talking to Ron Gardner before the game, and he intimated that one of the reasons he has Tolbert in the lineup and one of the reasons why he has speed at the bottom and speed at the top, he plans to use the hit and run a little bit more tonight. There's a look at Gardy. Pretty good manager.
Yeah, he's one of the better ones. Top 5 in the game. As here's Cabrera with a little flare, and that is trouble. That's fair ball. But Cabrera's going to make the turn. He's going to go into third base with that little duck snort triple.
That's the 3rd triple of the year for Cabrera. Just barely dropping it inside the line, and on the dive, Jermaine couldn't come up with it, and he couldn't knock it down when it got by him. So this fastball tailing in on the hands of Orlando Cabrera. He hits it in the perfect spot, and Jermaine just can't get to it. So that brings the infield in at all 4 positions. Not a very comfortable place to be with Joe Mauer up, and now they're moving back a little bit on the right side.
Mauer hitting at .374, 28 homers and 88 driven in. Takes first pitch strike. 26-year-old catcher, premier hitter in this league. Time was called. First base umpire Tim Welke, the crew chief. Outfield shading him around to the left, just about equidistant. And a count 0-2.
Mauer has 5 sacrifice flies this year. He's only fanned 58 times in 471 at bats. A little more pressure on him perhaps with Justin Morneau out of the lineup. With a fracture of his back, he's lost for the rest of the year.
Well, since Morneau's been out of the lineup, his average has gone up.
He's taking it upon himself.
Yeah. Beautiful pitch. Ate him up by Hudson. 2 down.
There's no one place you can go all the time, but that's the place, up and in, where you can get him more times than not. And it's that inside-out swing, and he can't get anything into it. So you want a ground ball with the infield in, and he got it. But you're not out of the woods yet.
Not at all. This guy right here has got a chance to be a monster as that ball gets away. Now Cabrera, he's going to score.
And that's heads-up base running, because as soon as that ball got away from A.J., Cabrera took off. And usually if the ball gets out of the dirt circle, the good base runners are going to score. So after making a terrific pitch on Mauer, Cabrera scores anyway. And this has got to go as a pass ball. And it is a pass ball.
That's a shame. So at this point, that is an unearned run. Kubel fouls it away. And here at beautiful US Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. Gone, but the unfortunate pass ball right there, and it is 1-0 Minnesota.
Beckham and Pierzynski 1 through 3. Then Konerko, the DH. Kotsay, Dye, Quentin, Getz, and Alexei Ramirez, who's been red hot against Nick Blackburn. The Lowe's defense. Young, Span, and Kubel left to right with Tolbert, Cabrera, Punto, and Kadire. Mauer behind the plate. And the U.S. Cellular starting pitcher, Nick Blackburn. Blackburn on for the 31st time. Game under 500. Given up a lot of hits. 222 and 184 and 2/3 innings. He is a sinker baller.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As first pitch low and away to Scotty Pods. Comes in hitting at 304, 6 homers, 45 driven in. Sox hitting at 259 as a club with a 4.16 ERA. And the count 2-0. Going to help him out. First of 3 with Minnesota. Off day on Thursday, and then the Tigers come to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the count 3-0. Squeeze it. Pides 1 for 9 lifetime off Blackburn. There's a strike.
Blackburn's only walked 40 men in 184 2/3 innings, so he walks guys very infrequently. But he's on the verge of doing it here to lead off the game.
Line shot right to Tolbert at third. That's a hang with him for Scotty Pides.
Well, Scott knew he was going to get a fastball on 3-1. He got the fastball and hit it right on the button. But Tolbert playing well off the line, and Tolbert is a man with a lot of different positions. Like a lot of these Twins, he's very versatile. Gardner says he can put him just about anywhere and get a real good effort from him.
First pitch strike to Beckham. Gordon hitting at 266, 12 homers, 54 driven in. And that's out of play right side. 0-2 the count. Sox 41-34 here at home, while on the road 32-43. Watch out. Blackburn 3-1 against us this year, with a very fine 2.67 ERA. And if you want to take that game that he pitched against us last season, a 1-0 loss for Blackburn. So the last 4 decisions have been pretty good.
Well, up until 6 starts ago, he was really struggling, and then he rediscovered his sinker, and things have gone very well for him.
Gets him. And right now with 2 out, let's check out our Heineken picks to click tonight. Jim Angio, our director and the crew, they went with Jermaine Dye, Steve, Lisa, and Tex. They're going to go with Gordon Beckham. And Gwen Beckham, Gordon's sister, watching with her sorority sisters down at the University of Georgia in Athens. We're going to go with Mark Kotsay. Oh, 0-1 the count to AJ. AJ 10 for 23 lifetime off Blackburn. Chopper, 3-hopper. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning, and after 1 it is 1-0 Minnesota.
Whether it's a Warning Track, Fan Deck, or individual game diamond suites, they're all available. Book a group outing or party area today by calling 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
One nothing bad guys here in the top of the second. It'll be Cuddyer, Young, and Morales to face 22-year-old right-hander Daniel Hudson out of Sulligent, Alabama.
And Cuddyer is a guy that's really turning it on. So he's another one who has picked up the slack now that Morneau is gone for the year.
Fouls that one away right side. Well, when Cuddyer is healthy, like he was not last season, when he's healthy, he's good. Good team player, good clutch player, terrific outfielder.
And he was signed originally as a shortstop. And then they decided to put him at third. That didn't work out very well. Then they put him in left and finally said, okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to put you in right field and you're going to stay there, which he did until Morneau got hurt, and now he's playing first base.
He got a good pitch to hit right there and pops it up. Beckham. So Hudson, big young man, 6'4", 220 pounds. Well, how many pitchers can you recall that went the gamut in one season?
Not many, and that's really the oddity of Daniel Hudson this year. He went from the bottom to the top,
right?
Every level.
I've been trying to think if I can ever recall one that pitched at every stop on his way to the big leagues at the end of the season. Delvin Young at 268, 8 homers. He's driven in 44. He's been getting a few big hits for him lately as well. Hudson's got a lot of slinger in him.
He also has a lot of movement. His fastball.
Most slingers do.
Those fastball moves real well.
I've never seen a slinger yet that was straight. Breaking ball, lays off that, and the count 2-2.
Except for Dave Wickersham.
Come on, Charlie. Just off the corner, full count. Old 2-0-3-1. Every hit. Got ahead of him, loses him. So there's his first walk issued in the major leagues.
And take a look at the rise through the system. Low A, Kannapolis, ERA 123, then high A at Winston-Salem, threw the ball very well. Went to Double A at Birmingham, was absolutely unhittable. Went to Triple A, fared just as well. Look at the walk to strikeout ratio. And here he is in the big leagues.
And here's a switch hitting DH who just kills us. Jose Morales. Morales this year has faced us 11 times. He has 8 hits with 3 big RBIs. There's a strike.
Well, I shouldn't tell you this, but I did pick up his bat before the game today. And nothing special on it, no magic or anything, so I tried to rub a double play into it.
Did you?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here.
Hope nobody was watching.
Actually, Rich Stelmazik was their longtime coach of these Twins and former star player in Chicago.
Well, Morales in his career has only faced us 14 times, and he only has 11 hits.
It's really been astonishing. And some of them were real big hits.
11 for 14. Young 2 for 5 in stolen bases. Minnesota comes in 31-40 on the road, while at home they were 45-33. And that's into left field. Yay. 2 down. Here's a handsome man.
There's a look at the face of Chicago, Rich Stelmaszek.
He's been over 20 years with the Twins. So here's another switch hitter. 3 in a row. Morales, Tolbert, and Punto. Excuse me, when I say 20, 29 years he's been with the Twins.
He has the longevity record for Twin coaches.
And there's a base hit. So 2 out, 2 on. That'll bring up Punto. Nick hitting at 227, a homer. He's driven in 33.
Nick's another guy that's actually been playing pretty well. When we were in Minnesota last, his batting average was a little over 200. Now it's up to 227.
Outfield around to the left. As Punto takes first pitch strike. Very quickly to count 0-2. Just got to hope that walk to Delmon Young doesn't jump up and bite young Daniel Hudson right here. And the 0-2 pitch.
Tantalizing changeup. That time it was just low and off the plate. Punto with a good take because this one looked like a strike for a long time.
Comes back with another one. Flips that one foul out of play. One of the little piranhas on this ball club.
Well, he's the epitome of that. In golf, you'd call him a grinder. Here, we call him a piranha.
Watch out. Golf, he'd be more like a sandbagger. You don't expect him to beat you, but he does. Like you on the golf course.
Well, occasionally I can whip up a good round, but I haven't played in so long I don't even remember which side of the clubs to use.
A little high, I guess.
That'll start the runners going at 3-2.
They had him 0-2. Was ahead of also Young.
One was up.
Coop getting on Jim Reynolds a little bit. And that ball wasn't high. And the payoff. Had him 0-2 and loses him. That's not good.
Now, and this is most unusual for Daniel Hudson, who made it through all of his stops this year because he had such good control. But you'd have to believe in this, his first major league start, that he's got a lot of extra adrenaline. And in this, just his second inning of work, it still hasn't burned off quite yet.
And here's Span with the sacks packed with Twinkies. Hit the ball very hard. Fortunately, hit the mound. Starts him off with a changeup low. Hit the mound and kicked over just enough for Alexy to be able to make the play.
Those numbers with the bases loaded are very impressive for young Denard Span.
There's a strike. Way inside.
That's where Daniel's really having his problems, and that is inside to the left-hand hitters. He's been able to zero in that outside corner, but it's been inside to the lefties where he's missed consistently.
And the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Sacks packed here in the top of the second. Minnesota leads it 1-0. Big rip right there. He was all over it, just underneath it.
Got a 2-2 fastball up and out of the zone, but it was too close to take, and he fouled it straight back.
So another full count, regardless of what happens here. Twins have had a good inning, as Hudson has been getting ahead, couldn't put them away. Couple of walks, bases loaded, and another 3-2. It is 2-0.
Don Cooper is going to have to go out there, and he is. That's to settle down his youngster. That's RBI number 60 for Span. So they've scored their 2 runs on a pass ball and a bases loaded walk.
Seems like we have found ways like that all season long to give other teams runs. We found a lot of different ways.
Most of them not particularly good. Now Don Cooper's had his say.
Well, this is the 16th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 15, Minnesota's won 9 of them. We have played 6 times here at this park. Sox have won 4 of the 6. We played 9 games at the Twinkie Dome. Minnesota won 7 of the 9. So here's Cabrera, had that little bloop triple and scored on a pass ball last inning. That's high into left field. That's a can of corn. So 3 walks in the inning, along with a base hit. And the damage was really minimal. They only score 1, but they lead it 2-0. times this season. We're trail here 2-0 and 2 gift runs.
Well, unfortunately, that's exactly what's happened in this one. And this is a pretty tough team. I mean, they can score enough runs if you let them hit the ball, let alone giving them runs, which is exactly what happened. So now hopefully we can come back against Nick Blackburn, who's been pretty tough on us this year.
That 3-1 record with a 2.67 ERA. So it'll be Konerko, Kotsay, and Dye. First pitch strike right on the outside corner. It looked like Blackburn may have been what he found. Let's see another few pitches here. One and one to count. Breaking ball hit in right field.
Bring your friends and family to U.S. Cellular Field as the White Sox take on these Twins tomorrow and Wednesday, and the Tigers this weekend. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
And here's Kotsay, arc hitting at 284 homers. He's driven in 20. This guy here, the more you see him, the more he impresses you. He always impressed us when he had another uniform on, but seeing him more than we have in the past is an asset.
Well, I think if Mark Kotsay can stay healthy, this is a guy that you'd absolutely have to bring back because of his versatility. In fact, he can do things that most guys can't do, and that's hit off the bench.
Well, to me, I can tell you what I think why Blackburn has found it. Why he's been more effective lately. He's shortened up his stride. He's got more time at the top.
Well,
Get his arm up there.
He's much more over the top than he was when he was struggling. He had a tendency to get under a lot of his pitches. Consequently, they were flat.
Well, he's on top of everything here.
Yeah.
Attaboy, Mark. So, win Beckham. At the University of Georgia and the sorority sisters watching in tonight. Their pick to click.
A high changeup, and high changeups usually wind up in the outfield. Does he mean to tell me that Gwen did not pick her own brother?
No, I picked for her tonight because
you made a wise
pick. You picked first. You picked Beckham.
Well, I had to try to break him out of this mini slump he's in. But then again, I picked the South in the Civil War, so my picking hasn't been good.
Hey, don't go there. Don't y'all go there now. Here's Jermaine. Jermaine at 250, 25 homers, 74 driven in. Jermaine's been struggling, and in that struggle, cutting that swing short, and that's what happens. He's had some good pitches to hit, and I know it's been driving him up a wall. This guy is a good hitter, and he just got into this funk and has had trouble keeping that swing from cutting off on him, which will cause you to get underneath it and foul it off to the right. Breaking ball, 2 down. And when you cut that swing off, anything from the middle out, especially if it's going away from you, you really don't have much of a chance on. So here's Quentin. Carlos at 232, 17 homers and 45 driven in. That's a nasty pitch right there. B pitch.
Well, he's got two different types of breaking balls. That was the hard slider, and that one goes down, but it goes down at 87 miles an hour.
Gets off the sweet meat.
And the other one has a little more break to it. That's the pitch where he got Germain.
And that's the base hit in the hole. So 2 out, 2 on here in the bottom of the second. We trail it 2-0 if you're just tuning in.
Threw that fastball down and away from Carlos, and he was able to take it through the left side.
Chris Getz hitting at .269, a couple of homers. He's driven in 31. Chris takes that one outside. Outfield shading to the left. Bit of a gap out there in right center. What Jermaine is going through right here is what Big Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, used to go through with us when he would get in a funk, and it was cutting his swing off. And it's tough to get out of. Ball with a lot of movement from Blackburn.
Delman Young in left field has a right fielder's arm. He can throw the ball real well.
Softly hit right off the end of the bat. Cabrera on the move. Gets him, and that'll retire the side. We get a couple of hits. Can't score. Strand 2. It's 2-0. Twins.
This is Chuck Garfien. For the inside scoop on the White Sox, check out my blog, The Sox Drawer, at csnchicago.com, brought to you by Toshiba.
All right, Chuck's got a blog. Check it out. As we are in the third inning, Joe Mauer, Jason Kubel, and Mike Kadire to face young Daniel Hudson. Just off the plate.
You got to be careful because in a key situation you got Mauer out inside, and good hitters remember how all pitchers get them out in the go-to spot.
Well, when you get a hitter like Mauer, said it before and all these years, You get a good team. You get a good hitting team. You get a good hitter like Mauer. If you don't pitch him inside, you're not taking the best of it. You're giving yourself the worst of it. You got to pitch him inside. You got to throw him right underneath his hands. The better the hitting team, the more you got to pitch him inside. The better the hitter, the more you got to pitch him inside, because you pitch him out over the plate, and they're going to beat your brains out.
Well, there's no doubt. And there's a lot of teams. In fact, John Gordon, their broadcaster, came in and said most of the teams have been throwing the ball away from Joe Mauer. That's one of the reasons why he's hitting 370 something.
That's right. You keep the ball middle out on him, and he's just going. He might hit 400. Kubel struck out on a fastball. He gone. Got him on another one.
AJ wants it up. One had some pretty good late movement. Kubel's been up twice, and he's late on this one. He must not be seeing it very well from young Daniel Hudson.
And here's Kadire. He popped up. To Beckham. Take another look at that pitch to watch what Steve was talking about here, the late movement to Kubel. And watch it just dart out right at the end. Boy, that is what hitters absolutely hate. You can have movement, but don't have it at the end. That's out of play right side.
Well, that's what's going to make the difference if Daniel Hudson is going to be successful in the major leagues. It looks like he's got good enough stuff to be successful. It's going to be late movement. I think he needs a third pitch. I think if he can work on that slider, be a little bit better, because right now, as you saw that one, doesn't have the greatest feel for it. It's his third best pitch.
The ball hit deep in the center field. Slides back right in front of the track. A 1-2-3 inning for Hudson. So a good comeback after the 3 walks in the second, but he trails at 2-0. Leads away for the Sox as they take on Joe Mauer and these Twins right here at US Cellular Field. Coverage starts with Felco White Sox pregame live, and it's the Sox and Twins in HD Wednesday night at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Alexei Ramirez will lead it off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Then we'll go back to the top of the order with Scotty Pods and Gordon Beckham. Good pitch by Blackmon. Good movement. Jumped in on his fist. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Mark your calendars. Sox Fest 2010 will take place at the Palmer House Hilton January 22nd through the 24th. Presented by Miller Lite, Pepsi, and the Palmer House Hilton. For more information, visit www.whitesox.com/community.
Here's Scotty Pides. He hit a line drive rope right at Tolbert at third, leading off the bottom of the first inning. One and one to count.
Sometimes you have great scouting, especially in the top 5 draft picks, and sometimes you have to get a little lucky. Nick Blackburn was a 29th round pick in 2001. That's going way down in the draft.
Well, we got a little lucky with a guy who was a 38th rounder.
I would say so, yes.
Been the face of our pitching staff for a long time. Mark Buehrle. Got him. He knew it. 2 down.
Scott just got outguessed that time because he saw a steady diet of breaking balls. Had him looking for it, and then threw a good moving fastball over the inside corner. You saw the movement. That's thrown right at the right hip of a left-hand hitter. And it comes back over the plate, and nobody did that better than Greg Maddux.
Well, Blackburn's letting his chest follow, not lead. Because there's a breaking ball. That's the reason he's getting on top of everything, shortening up that stride. And Beck right now, Stoney, nothing wrong with him mechanically at all. He's just trying to do too much. The rest of the guys aren't doing a whole bunch, and he's trying to pick some people up. And that's why he has been in this little funk he's in. Stay fair. Just foul.
Well, he threw him a real good curveball on the first pitch, an unhittable slider on the second pitch. And then for whatever reason, instead of following up with either a curve or slider, he threw him a high fastball, and he was very fortunate not to have thrown a double.
Oh, 0-2. Breaking ball. And there's a bullet.
Well, that one he hung, and Gordon made him pay for it. This one just came up there rolling and stayed right there. A year or so from now, that's going to be a home run. Tonight, it was a line drive to left field.
Here's AJ. AJ grounded out to second. You notice on most of his fastballs, Blackburn, he's taking about 3 to 4 miles an hour off of it. But he's getting the movement now. And we've seen him in the past as a count 0-2. He'd throw 90 to 91, 92, and it's fairly straight.
Well, that was a four-seamer, and that was straight and up.
Well, that's different. If you don't want to throw a sinker up.
Well, AJ's telling Jim Reynolds that you didn't give it to my guy. Now you're giving it to him.
And that'll retire the side. We are stranded 3 through 3, and we trail it by 2. The 1-0. And it's 2-0. Young walked and scored back in the second.
And that's most unusual because he had only walked 10 times coming into this game. Now he's walked 11 in 337 at bats.
Big hat, no cattle. And the 2-2. He gone.
Third strikeout for Daniel Hudson as he drops a breaking ball right over the outside corner. Perfect pitch.
So here's Morales. Jose went out to left field. He is now lifetime against the White Sox pitching staff, 11 for 15. Make it 12 for 16.
You'll have to excuse him if he doesn't want to leave town.
So that would bring up Matt Tolbert. He singled into left field back in the second.
Tolbert's a switch hitter who's been much better from the right side, but got his hit, as you see now, as a left-hand hitter.
Takes it up, and the count 0-1. Shanks that one. So the count 0-2. First of a 3-game set. Tomorrow night, Johnny Danks against Jeff Manship. So make your plans to be with us there at US Cellular Field. And then on Wednesday, Mark Burley against Brian Dunsing, who has really been pitching well for the Twins. He gone.
That was a good moving fastball. AJ catches it nicely, eases it back up into the zone, and gets the benefit of the call.
So all 3 of these games are night games. As Punto can't get it upstairs. That's inside. One of the reasons that getaway day on Wednesday for Minnesota's a night game here is because they have an off day on Thursday.
Then they go to Kansas City, and Ron Gardner was telling me how tough Kansas City has been on him this year. And I was telling him they haven't been easy on anybody. They killed Detroit. They came in, took 2 out of 3 from us.
Well, they finished 9-9 against Detroit for the season. They finished 9-9 against us for the season. And against Minnesota,
they got 6 left.
Minnesota's leading them 7-5 on the season.
With a home and home. Still to go.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Punto.
This is the first of a 10-game road trip for Minnesota that certainly will determine or help to determine their fate, because it ends with 4 games in Detroit.
Plus, Minnesota's always been very accommodating to the Sox, as we have to them. That's a little high. Full count. The only time we have to play a night game there on getaway day is when we have an off day on the next. There goes the runner, and there's a souvenir left side. That into the LG Skyline Club seats. And that's high. I guess.
They're going to look at it. AJ tries to bring it back down into the zone. And that looked exactly like the same height of the pitch he called on AJ, which is, I think, what he's telling Jim Reynolds.
So here's Span, 0 for 1 with a bases loaded walk, coming back in the second, picking up his 60th RBI. Span this year, all he's doing is hitting .393 against us. And in his young career, in 87 at bats coming in, hitting at .345. He also swings that magic one against our pitching staff. Irony this year, of course, the last two series we played against Minnesota, you could tell there was something wrong with Justin Morneau's swing because it just wasn't the same. It was very burdensome, cumbersome looking, and as it turned out, he had the bad back. But this year, Morneau hitting just .192 against us. We lost that one series up there, not the last one, the middle one, when we had no problems with Mauer or Morneau. Spans and everybody else who were beating us. There he just ate him up. And a nice little pick right there by Hudson. That'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It is still 2-0 Twins.
And the answer, Marty Cordova, 1995.
Wow. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Actually had a very bad case of plantar fasciitis, and it helped end what looked like a very promising career for the young guy.
Yeah. Just doesn't seem like it was that long ago, though. So here's Konerko.
Wasn't that long, 14 years.
There's a strike.
It does go quickly, though.
Well, some things do, some things don't. To me, I'm talking about. You know, I guess the biggest moment that I really understand how fast time flies is when I see friends of mine who have a baby. Then the next time you see them, they're 8 years old. I mean,
they're close friends, huh?
Where'd it go?
Oh.
But you know, I don't spend a lot of time. That's in the right field. Just foul. And good thing, because it's fair, Gadire's going to catch it. Or Kubel, I should say. Maybe he wouldn't. Gadire would have.
Well, Kadire has taken over every day at first base in the absence of Morneau. Kubel has found a spot in the outfield.
And again, like we were talking, when he's healthy, that guy right there is just one of the steadiest players in the league. Paulie, 4 for 27 lifetime off blank. He's had his trouble off the 6'4" right-hander out of Denton, Texas. Make it 4 for 28. That'll bring up Kotsay, who lined a single into center field.
Michael Kadire was a first-round draft pick, the 9th player chosen overall in 1997 for these Twins.
Oh, 1-1 the count. That ball did not come back to catch the outside corner. Kotsay knows it. I don't think there's any question. Reynolds has got a pretty generous strike zone for Mr. Blackburn. And there's another base hit for Gwen Beckham.
First time into right center, and this time into left center. This is a fastball. He just reaches down, keeps his bat in the zone long enough to just flick it into left field.
And here's Jermaine. Struck out on a breaking pitch. Prior to that, though, he had a couple of good pitches to hit. Out and around that. It's all right to cut your swing off if you're standing right on top of the plate. But if you're standing off the plate at all, and you cut it off, as I mentioned earlier, from the middle out, not too much of a chance.
I'd love to see Blackburn throw the same type of rolling breaking ball that he threw to Beckham last inning.
There's a good chance it would be hit foul by Jermaine.
Think he'd get around a little too quickly?
Yep. Yep. He, you know, when you're struggling like that, I'll tell you, it's you get a decent pitch to hit like a hanger, and you're just a little too quick. You get a fastball, it's a decent pitch to hit, and you're just a little too late. It's that 30th of a second, either way, either slow or fast.
Another pitch right down the middle and fouled it straight back.
That's what I mean. he's had good pitches to hit in this struggling time he's had. And he's fouled them away. He's either fouled them back like that or he's fouled them to the right side. And JD swinging the bat good. That last pitch probably is over that center field fence. Fourth strikeout for Blackburn. Check that, fifth. And they're 2 out. And that'll bring up Quentin. Carlos, that single in the hole. This is the best movement I've ever seen on Nick Blackburn with his fastball.
Well, he's around the plate a lot, so he's going to give up his hits. The key is he hasn't walked anybody.
Yeah, I've never seen him with that kind of movement. As Tolbert makes his own hop, nice play, throws him out. Side retired into the fifth, trailing 2-0.
Visit the official online shop of the White Sox at whitesox.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Visit your team gear and get it straight from the source.
First
Shop the
pitch.
whitesox.com shop.
Low and away to Cabrera, who's 1 for 2. Had that little bloop triple just inside the right field line. And he scored on the pass ball with 2 out. Goes it away.
That's going to be E1 because that was a fairly easy play to make, and he's bounced off the mound real well tonight. For whatever reason, he threw that one on the home plate side of first base, and no chance at all for Mark Kotsay. He gets this ball quickly enough.
He's got plenty of time.
He does that. Just throws it well wide of the bag. He got under that throw. That was one of the big reasons, and looking at his hand, it just slipped off his hand. We've been very generous this evening.
Well, we've given him the first 2 runs. And here's Mauer, who's grounded to short, and he's grounded to second. Takes first pitch strike. Change up. Gave that one away a little bit.
DJ Carrasco loosening up in the bullpen. Hudson about ready to deliver his 78th pitch.
Backs it up with another changeup. Mauer came into this game hitting at .374. What a magnificent athlete this young man is. Tries to bust him inside. I agree with you, Stoney, about him having to come up with a third pitch. But I can tell you this also. If he ever came up with a cutter,
he might be able to learn that one a little easier than he can that overhand breaking ball that he's been using. Now, they call it a slider. It really isn't, because it breaks a little bit more than most sliders. But he's got enough movement, and that changeup is good enough where one more of anything effectively would make him very tough.
One more, and that's the perfect way to put it. One more of anything.
Just something to give the hitter a different look.
Right.
So he can't guess 50% of what you're doing. You cut his guesswork down to 333.
That cutter, though, from his delivery, his arm angle, if he can come up with one to those left-handed hitters, would be tough. And the payoff. Checks it up, fouls it off. In one respect, though, Mauer's just like the rest of the good hitters. He hates to face somebody that's going to be persistent and consistent in pitching him in, especially if they have movement. Ate him up. Ate him up in there. One out.
When you take a great hitter who has a man at second base and nobody out and force him to hit the ball the other way because you're jamming him, that is a good sequence of pitching.
Well, as we talked about earlier, that's where you got to pitch him. You got to pitch him underneath his hands and be consistent and let him know you're going to be persistent about it. Here's Kubel, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
One of the reasons he's been able to strike him out a couple times is he's been throwing the ball between the belt and the letters. This guy, like most left-handers, loves the ball down.
That would have been the right size, but the wrong shape. And the count 1-2.
One way or the other, this is going to be the last inning that Hudson does throw.
He's an impressive young man, 22 years old. Barring injury, we're going to see a lot of young Daniel Hudson. Change up. And a full count. Yeah, he's grinding out there right now.
You get to the point where you almost want to invent a pitch when he can throw a high fastball by him.
Checks it up. Off speed. 2 down.
Threw a good change, and Kadire didn't want to swing at it, but he left his bat in the zone.
Had him way out there.
And AJ wants to talk with Beckham. And that's pretty much, if he's going to go inside to Kadire, he's going to want Gordon to play the line, but he might not get a chance to face Kadire at the 87 pitch mark.
Well, actually, Ozzy's seeing the same thing we are. He's starting to labor out there.
Yep. I think he's asking him if he wants to go. He's asking AJ, how's the stuff look? Do you want to get this guy out? The answer is yes.
Ozzy, you saw a little grin on Hudson's face when Ozzy said that little last statement to him. So Kadire has popped up to Beckham and gone out deep to center field, taking Pods back almost to the track. First pitch strike. And the count 0-2. Good movement, late movement on that one. And there's a base hit. So it's a 3-0 ball game. The unearned run comes around and scores. That is 2 unearned runs we have given them tonight. If you're just joining us, and here's Young, who has walked and scored and struck out. One strike to Delmon Young. And the other run they scored was a gift as well. If you didn't see it, back in the second inning, he got Kadire to pop up the leadoff. Then he walked Young. Morales went out to left field, so there's 2 out, 1 on. And there was a base hit to left field by Tolbert. Then he walked Punto to load the bases. Then he walked Span to force in Young. So 3 walks in the inning. He only had 1 hit. Gardensire says, we'll take it. We'll take them all. And the 0-2. Daniel Hudson, 5th round pick in last year's draft. And here he is pitching in the big leagues. and impressive. Breaking ball into center field. A little soft fly ball, but the two-base throwing error comes around and scores. We're halfway home, trailing 3-0. All right, Chuck, look at the ties he's sporting. Stone Pony, he must have got those over in Spain.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
World traveler like our Chuck.
And bon vivant.
Oh, man. Sartorial splendor. Breaking ball strike to Chris Getz, who grounded out to short. 3-0 bad guys. 3-4-0 for them. 3 gift runs we have given. 0-4-1 for us. Daniel Hudson, his first major league start. And that's in the center field for a base hit.
Our hitters have been able to solve Blackburn. They've got 5 singles. That was a curveball that didn't break all that sharply. Chris stays with it, dumps it into center field, so a promising way to start the 5th inning.
And here's Alexei. Alexei got sawed off his first at bat. That was leading off the 3rd. Hit a little ground ball to his counterpart, Orlando Cabrera. Oh, 0-2 the count. Ball hit very hard, meanwhile, just a strike. Just a small gap out there in right center. And should be. Nice pick by Cuddyer.
Nice play on both ends. The backhand flip by Cabrera. Not a good throw by Punto. as Getz went down there trying to break it up. And a good pick by Kadire at first base.
So as quickly as we had a man aboard, there are 2 out. Another good pitch by Blackburn on Ramirez. And here is Scotty Pines, who has lined hard to third and struck out. Detroit has an off day. And tomorrow, the Tigers will be in Cleveland, as there's a line drive base hit. So the double play really hurt right there.
Well, this has been the MO this year for Blackburn. He's going to give up a lot of hits. He came in 222 hits in 184 innings. But because he doesn't walk a lot of people and he does have an ability to throw ground balls, he's able to give up a lot of hits, but not a lot of runs.
Daisuke.
Very similar.
He's amazing. He's about as good as anybody I've ever seen at that. Giving up base runners and they don't score.
Big difference, of course, is one guy is making a little bit and the other guy is making a big bit.
2 bits.
So Daisuke is he's a $100 million man plus.
Yeah, it's been a long. I've never seen anybody who gives up more base runners than he does, and yet they can't cross home plate. Base hits, walks, and that is popped up right side. Punto is there, and foul ground makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. We get a couple of hits, can't do anything with it. We're into the 6th. We need 3 to tie.
Apple Vacations Mexico Tourism Night, presented by Apple Vacations. The first 20,000 fans will receive White Sox luggage tag, and fans will enjoy post-game fireworks. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. DJ Carrasco comes into the game. Daniel Hudson goes 5, gives up 3 runs. 1 of them earned. 4 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and there's DJ. Just a great year. ERA a little above 3.5.
And here's Jose Morales, who is 1 for 2. If you're just joining us, Stone Pony told you 3 runs, just 1 earned, and the other, he walked 3 in an inning to go along with a base hit to give up the other. So 3 gift runs, but a very impressive performance stuff-wise and potential-wise and upside-wise for Daniel Hudson.
I would say in this, his first major league start, he would have to consider this, and I think Don Cooper and Ozzie consider this a plus performance. He'd like to have that bunt back. I know that, the one that he threw away, but
in the left field, can of corn, 1-0. Well, I'll guarantee you that the man sitting upstairs from us right now that was impressed, Kenny Williams.
Well, I don't doubt it for a second, because at 22 years old, with the late movement that he saw and a good straight change, you have to be very happy with one of the hottest teams in baseball coming to visit us, the Twins.
Minnesota coming in, won 6 out of the last 7. "21" to count to Tolbert, who is 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Back through the middle. So he's 2 for 3.
I talked to Gardner. He said one of the reasons why he started Tolbert is he wants a little more energy, and he feels that Tolbert gives him that type of energy. He can use a hit and run with Tolbert on and Punto up. You see pretty good numbers as a Twins manager for Ron Gardner. Wouldn't be surprised if he had something going here.
Punto has walked twice. Well, personally, I'm glad he's got somebody other than Brendan Harris in there.
Well, Harris has been very good against us.
You better believe it.
Very good overall. But Tolbert, a little bit better speed, and was almost picked off. And a good move by DJ.
Tolbert is 6 for 6 in that category. And that's foul.
One thing you haven't seen any evidence of, and it's difficult for a young hitter, especially one who's going through the trials and tribulations that Gordon Beckham has been going through recently, a tendency to take your bat to the field with you. We haven't seen any evidence of that.
I don't think he ever will.
He's played a terrific third base.
I don't think you'll ever see anything even close to that with Beckham. There's a strike. Now, Beckham has a lot of baggage that comes with him, and it's all positive. Unlike
some other folks who might have a few negative pieces in the closet with them.
Yeah. Where it's all negative.
Well, Gordon's in a battle for Rookie of the Year. And we'll take a look at where he ranks among American League rookies. He doubles, he's 1. Runs batted in, 1. Extra base hits, 1. Slugging percentage, 2. Home runs, he's tied for 2nd. On base percentage, 3rd. So the credentials are there.
Well, Reimol's on the DL.
And we talked about his Achilles tendon when he was here. So that didn't get any better.
Well, also, you got to take into consideration when you look at those stats right there. Gordon's on a team that has been trying to go to the playoffs, where you got the other two chief candidates, so to speak, Bailey out in Oakland and Reimold in Baltimore. They're not going in. They hadn't been playing under any kind of pressure like that.
Well, I think Reimold probably physically will have taken himself out of that, but Bailey is still a worker.
And that has to be a consideration.
Randy Williams loosening up in the bullpen.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Punto. A little bit different playing on a club trying to get to postseason than on a club that's going to finish last.
Up the track.
Yeah. Ball gets away, so Tolbert in the second.
And that's probably going to go as a wild pitch. And if it is, it'll be just the 3rd wild pitch of the year for DJ as he tries to throw a hard slider low and in. And I would say that's a wild pitch.
And a payoff pitch. A big up to this point game. And up to this point, the most important game for us this season. That breaking ball, more of a get-me-over, and it's 4-0. So the wild pitch, and then the 3-2 get-me-over breaking pitch.
I think in watching this game, it pretty much highlights the difference between these two teams. Every time we have made a mistake tonight, every time the Twins have taken advantage of it. And they haven't made any mistakes. That's one of the reasons why they lead 4-0. Pass balls, wild pitches, errors, and these guys don't overswing. They just take what you give them.
So DJ will depart, and we'll be back.
Buffets are also available. Book a terrace suite by calling 312-674-1000 or visit WhiteSox.com. Randy Williams comes into the game at 0-1. His ERA .565 on for the 22nd time. He inherits Nick Punto at first base. And he inherits a 4-0 deficit.
Denard Span 0 for 2 with a walk and an RBI. That walk came with the bases loaded back in the second. $26,541 in the house. Twins, we gave them one in the first. We gave them one in the second. We gave them one in the third. And we have come close to giving them one right here on that wild pitch. Watch out. They got him in the helmet. That got him in the helmet.
That hit him in the back of the helmet.
If you're going to get hit in the helmet, that's the best place to get hit. Right in the back. That's a bad sound when you combine it with a visual.
That's just a terrible sound.
Yep.
And at least Span is up. But they are going to take him out. Take a look at him.
I hope he'll be all right, as Carlos Gomez is going to go in and run for him. He should be, hopefully. Knock on wood. This concussion factor is becoming a big issue in sports.
I think we're going to see different helmets. One maybe.
They've already got them out. Every club has got some.
Well, they're gigantic now, but I think eventually they're going to be able to withstand a faster pitch with a little smaller helmet than the one that we've seen, which looks like a space helmet.
Cabrera takes strike one. He had a little bloop double, a triple in the first inning and scored on a pass ball with 2 out. Then he went out to left field. In last inning, he let off with a little ball back to the pitcher that Daniel Hudson threw away for a 2-base error, and he came around to score on a 2-out single by Kadire. Well, as you know, it was hard to hit me, but I got hit in the head 3 times. And the funny thing about it, never hurt one time. I mean, not at all. One of them, Sonny Sieber got me with a curveball or slider. There go the runners. And everybody's safe.
Double steal as Punto takes off. And right behind him, you're not going to get Gomez. You might as well try to cut down the lead runner. In this case, Nick Punto swipes his 13th base. Carlos Gomez his 12th.
So the infield in with 1 out. Ducks on the pond and a 2-1 count.
Well, Lexi's about as close as I've seen a shortstop yet. He doesn't want to take that bounce from the grass to the dirt because he's standing on the grass at shortstop.
And that's into right field. Jermaine got the bead. And here comes Punto. Here's a throw. Takes a bad hop on AJ. Bounces up on him. They had a shot if it was stayed down. Good effort by Jermaine.
Well, you really have a choice on that, and that is to bounce it further away or throw it on a fly. And this short hops AJ, and he really then has no chance. So
yeah, that ball came up on him. He was not anticipating that much of a high hop. So another one, and it is 5-0. Well, yesterday we get beat 2-1 in that Kansas City game, and it was a stolen base that set up both those runs, and the stolen base sets up that run.
Well, the Twins tonight have one extra base hit. That was just a bloop triple by Cabrera in the first inning. Other than that, it's been a walk that scored, an error that scored, and a couple of singles that scored because of a hit batsman, 2 stolen bases, and a sacrifice fly.
So the intentional walk to Mauer, who was 0 for 3 tonight. And here's Kubel. He is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Yeah, with that concussion factor, I've never seen it. It's starting to take a life of its own.
I think we're starting to recognize it more perhaps than ever before.
Well, there's no doubt about that, because guys in the past, they didn't, they get hit in the head, they just go to first base.
They'd have a headache and wonder why.
As he can't get that one. And I think that the more publicity that's out there, and the more these guys read about it, when something happens when they do get hit in the head, they just don't want to take any chances, and I don't blame them. We're playing in Toronto at Old Exhibition Stadium.
Oh, that was a dandy.
Yep. The 2-2 pitch. He gone. But a couple of runs across the plate. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Not good. And they had Jim Clancy, I believe it was, on the mound. Hit Bull in the head with a fastball. Herm Schneider come firing out of the first base dugout. Bull just looks at him and says, "Stop! Get your big behind right back in that dugout." Went to first base. That was it.
Clancy threw hard also.
Yeah. A.J. will lead it off. A.J. is grounded to second. He is grounded to short.
Carlos Gomez, who came in after Span was hit in the head, takes over in center field.
And he pokes that one in. That's a good start.
This ball moving away from A.J. just takes it through the left side. 7 hits, all singles.
And here's Paulie. Paulie 0 for 2. Paulie, the DH tonight, has gone out to right and struck out. Struck out swinging. Back in the 4th. Takes that pitch inside. And that is hooked foul. Five, 6-0 for them. 0-7-1 for us. Hit him on the fist. Fouls it back. If you're just joining us, Blackburn has had exceptional movement on his fastball tonight. Stayed on top of the breaking stuff.
You can see the difference, not in ERA, but home games, road games. Last road win a long time ago.
Ball gets away from Mauer, so AJ moseys on down to second.
That one looked like could have been a pass ball, unless, well, it's probably going to be a pass ball. Or might have been crossed up, but he certainly should have caught that ball.
Yeah, that's a pass ball. Outfield straight up, spread out. And the 2-2 pitch.
Nice play by Alexei. Reaches out that little slot in the dugout. Caught it left-handed.
Paulie inside outs it. Gets jammed.
Join former White Sox greats at the inaugural Chicago White Sox Fantasy Camp, January 10th through the 17th, at the White Sox new state-of-the-art facility at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. For an enrollment form or additional information, call 312-674-5444.
Here's Kotsay. He is 2 for 2. field. Up the middle, they're back. Outfield slightly to the left, gap in right center. As the Sox trying to get on the board. And then some. And the count 3-0. Don't help him out. There's one. And that is popped up. Young, he can throw. 2 down.
It's one of the guys you don't want to test, because he's set up perfectly for that throw in case there was going to have to be a throw, and hit the cutoff man Tolbert perfectly.
So here's Jermaine. Jermaine 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. So I got swinging on a curveball and one on a sinker. Down and in. But if you didn't see them, those 2 strikeouts in that sequence, and each one had a couple of good pitches to hit. Off the end of the bat, breaking ball. So once again, we have a man at third, less than 2 out, and can't do anything with it. Coming up tonight after Sox Postgame Live, we'll have Lovie Smith talking about the Bears win over Pittsburgh, plus a complete recap from this game. So join Pat and Mark for Sports Night, presented by Dex tonight after Sox Postgame Live, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Tony Pena comes into the game. Pena 1-2, ERA 4.23 on for the 30th time. So it's Hudson who started this one, then Carrasco, a third of an inning with a couple of runs, and Williams came on, and now it's Pena.
And here's Cuddyer. Takes first pitch strike. He had a 2-out RBI single back in the 5th inning on an 0-2 fastball. Hit it in the hole between first and second. Hit it hard. And that scored Cabrera, who had reached on a two-base error. And that's up high. Pops that one up, short right field. Gets us there. 1 out.
If you missed some of the action, go to On Demand from Comcast. You'll have access to Comcast Sportsnet White Sox games ready to watch on your schedule. Find out more, call 1-888-4BEST-TV.
Delman Young has walked, scored. That was in the second. Struck out in the fourth and went out to center in the fifth. Just waves at that one. And tomorrow night, Johnny Danks against Jeff Manship. Make your plans to be with us. If you can't, that game will be over WCIU Channel 26. You know, Wednesday night, Mark Burley against Brian Dunsing. A couple of southpaws there. That game on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. And you see the off day on Thursday. Then the Tigers come to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then it's off to Cleveland for 3. Off day on that following Thursday. And then finish up the season in Detroit. As he gone. 2 down. Jose Morales is 1 for 3. The other 2 times he went out to Quentin in left field. Takes ball 1. And that evens the count. Pena right there, and beautiful play by the veteran Mark Kotsay. 1-2-3 inning, 7th inning stretch. It is 5-0 bad guy. That's the story here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Carlos Quentin, Chris Getz, and Alexei Ramirez to face Nick Blackburn, who has had good stuff tonight. Good movement. And we get the result. That ball hit high and deep and foul. On Denard Span, he has a slight headache. It's a day-to-day situation. And left the game for precautionary measures.
Tremendous play by Mark Kotsay. This is going to be a 2-base hit down the line, but he's able to get there quickly. A good solid throw to Tony Pena. And they retire the side.
That ball hit deep.
It stays in the park. That guy is probably going to get it.
Well, that's a can of corn for him. That is the fastest center fielder in baseball right there.
Pretty
Maybe
impressive.
the fastest man.
Well, one of them, if not the fastest. He's right there. And pretty impressive numbers for Nick Blackburn. Most impressive of which is he hasn't walked anybody.
Chris Getz is 1 for 2. One and two the count.
He rings him up. He
Two down.
appealed to Tim Welke, and he said yes, he did swing. That one had a lot of sink in it. Nice pickup. Good tag.
And he did go.
Blackburn searching for his 4th complete game.
As I said, we've never seen him with movement like this. Even though he was 3-1 against us coming in, he has had exceptional movement on his fastball. Almost like he's just pitching flat-footed out there.
This is his 31st start. That's the most on his staff.
3-0 the count.
And the Twins only have 4 complete games. He's got 3 of them.
There's a strike. Alexei is 0 for 2 twice. He has hit the ball to his counterpart Orlando Cabrera once into a 6-4-3 double play. And that's hit softly into center field. And there's the little duck snort.
Gomez got a good break on this ball and comes in as fast as you can, but just can't get to it. No chance for Cabrera at all.
Yeah, you'd have a hard time throwing it out there any better than that. So here's Scotty Pides. He is 1 for 3.
Blackburn's only had 1 1-2-3 inning, and that came in the 1st inning.
And there's 2. 0-2 the count. The Pides with Gordon Beckham on deck.
Majerus and Guerrier.
Pretty good lead by Alexei, and the 0-2 pitch.
That one went up into the LG Skyline Club and bounced right back out. 100 pitches for Blackburn. So he most likely will not complete this one.
Well, the way he's throwing and with the lead he's got right now, I doubt. Well, you're talking about too much good stuff. That'll do it. We're into the 8th, 5-0 Twinkies. Hey, we love you, Art Chuck. We don't like this score, though. Top of the 8th inning, 5-0 bad guys. Tolbert hits the first pitch. Alexei. One pitch, one out. Tolbert now 2 for 4 with a run scored. Yeah, I won't say this has been the most disappointing season I've suffered in a while. I think 07 was the most disappointing season I've ever suffered, because that was a pretty good ball club that really did not play well at all. This season has been more of a frustration for me, because this is a club that should have won this division. But as I talked about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, this year, I don't care. As you saw the shot of Ozzie right there, it's been more disappointing for him than, not disappointing, frustrating than anything. But when your bullpen, I don't care how good a pitching you get from your starters, when your bullpen doesn't get it done, and August and September, as I said earlier, whoever gets the best bullpen work in August and September is going to win this division. And up until this point, Detroit has had the best bullpen work in August and so far in September. There's a base hit by Punto. That's his second hit. He is now 2 for 2 with 2 walks. This has just been a frustrating year.
Well, I believe that this division has been sitting there for the taking for some time. But it transcends just the bullpen, because even with a good bullpen, we've had a lot of runners taken off base.
Well,
that
there's no
shouldn't have
question
been.
about that, Stoney. You know that we've had bad base running, we've had bad defense, but still, with the way the bullpen is pitched, I don't care if you catch every ball, I don't care if you make no base running mistakes, we still would not have won this division. We have beaten ourselves this year. Detroit hadn't beaten us, Minnesota hadn't beaten us. We have beaten ourselves. We have, how many games have we given away? That Boston series, when we went up there, went to play the Red Sox and then the Yankees. That week, our bullpen gave up 22 runs.
No, that was
symptomatic of what was going on. I don't care. Our starters have pitched well enough to have won this division easily. Easily.
Well, you're looking at two teams. When you talk about Boston and New York, New York's 52-23 at home, and Boston's 52-22 at home. Those are two teams that kill you in their home ballpark. And one of the reasons they do is if they can get past your starter, they will kill your bullpen.
No question.
And that's what they've done all year. When you're talking 30 over 500, those are pretty impressive numbers at home.
No question about it. Yeah, it's been just a frustrating year. It's been frustrating for you being a pitcher. It's been frustrating for me being a hitter. It's been frustrating for Ozzie.
Well, the guys have put in so much time. I mean, the guys that are here early and stay late every
they've
day
worked hard.
are the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has worked hard as there is a stolen base. Our guys have not packed it in. They have not quit all season long, and they won't quit the remaining games, regardless of what happens.
And for them, because you're going to put in the same amount of time on a winning team as you are on a team that finishes up the track. And this coaching staff has been out there early. They've essentially, watching Joey Cora work with Gordon Beckham at third base, he's made him into a pretty good third baseman. I watched Don Cooper working with the pitching staff and trying to get guys a whole lot better. And the same can be said with Greg Walker. And of course, Ozzie is here trying to figure out which particular lineup he wants to use, what combination might work. And you look at all of the coaches. They do the same thing. They pour over the scouting reports. I look at Jeff Cox looking over how each outfielder throws.
Nice pick by Casio. Another low throw by Ramirez. Well, it's been frustrating for me, as I said, from an offensive standpoint, being a hitter, is the fact that I not every day at home, but on the road, I see Greg working with the guys a lot of the time. I see what he's working with them on. He's working with them on the right things. And in the cage and underneath in the cages, they do it right, do it terrific. There's a base hit by Cabrera, and it's 6-0. And then all of a sudden the game starts, and it's like, who is that?
Well, that's forever been the case with a lot of players in all sports. The guys that can do it at 5 o'clock are not necessarily the guys that can do it, in our case, at 7-11. When you're not having a good year, you find that happen a whole lot. And once again, a base hit, a stolen base, and another base hit scores a run.
Well, when you play, the biggest thing, though, Steve, is when you play as inconsistent as we have been, with the exception to one area has been the starting pitching. That starting pitching group has pitched well enough to win a divisional championship easily.
Well, they've been 1, 2, or 3 all year long in the American League.
But the thing that really kills you is the inconsistency when you put, as Mauer fouls it down, when you put, you know, the defense, the base running, and then the bullpen, which is number one, bullpen. And you put those together, then what happens is, with the inconsistencies of those three categories, you never have a chance to develop a killer instinct.
You also don't have any winning streaks. I mean, you won't.
You can't develop a killer instinct unless you've got some winning streaks. If Mauer gets a base hit. So Joe picks up his first hit of the game. He is now 1 for 4. But it's gotten to the point that if you can't have a killer instinct, you're probably not going to win your divisional title, and our club has not had a killer instinct. We've had so many chances this year to sweep series. 3-game series, 4-game series. We'd win the first 2 in a 3-game series, couldn't get the job done. Win the first 3 in a 4-game series, couldn't get the job done. There's a good pitch, didn't get it. But during the course of the season, when you are playing decent baseball and you have a chance to sweep, that's where the clubs with the killers, they go ahead and take it out. They don't let you up. They go for the jugular, and they bite down hard. One and one the count to Kubel, looking for his first hit of the evening. He's 0 for 4. And the count 1-2. We never got a one dadgum run all season long. That, have you ever been with a club that didn't get on one run, at least one?
No.
Me either. I've never seen one that didn't get on at least one. Not one run did we get on all year long. That's foul.
It's an interesting headgear.
Like something Joe Grube would put on.
That is a real Sox fan.
All right, another one crosses the plate.
Kubel drives home his 88th run of the year. There was 2 outs, 1 on, and 3 straight hits have accounted for a couple of runs.
Kubel with his 32nd though. Kadire checks it up. He did not go. And from an offensive standpoint, for the most part this year, the top of the order has been just fine. The lower part of the order this year has been just fine. It's been the middle of the order that has really struggled.
Individually, there's been some very good years. Posednik has had a terrific year leading off. A.J. Przinsky has had one of his best years, especially now moving to third. He's been able to drive home some runs. Paul Konerko has had, for him, very much an average year. A year where he's going to hit close to 30, probably going to hit 30 home runs, drive in 90, hitting the 280s. And Alexei Ramirez is going to have for him an average year. Put them all together somehow, and it hasn't turned into one of those offenses that will put the hammer down and just take you apart on a daily basis.
High pop up right side. But 2 more going to board. We trail it 7-0.
3 wide. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Well, if you're just tuning in, the one bright spot in this game for us has been Daniel Hudson. He was impressive. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, 1 earned. 4 hits, but he walked 4, 3 of them coming in 1 inning. That was back in the second when they scored a run. So in essence, all the runs he gave up, we gave him.
And Matt Guerrier comes into this one at 5-1, ERA 2.21, out for the 73rd time.
That is high into left field. That's a battle. Beckham.
Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night at U.S. Cellular Field Friday when the White Sox take on the Tigers at 7-11. Enjoy Latin music, dancing, and special activities for kids, along with specially priced tickets. To order tickets, visit whitesox.com/heritage.
I know one thing, after we were just discussing the travails of our club last inning, as that is down into the right field areas and just foul. I am really looking forward to the next season.
Well, I think Kenny's got a little work to do.
Well, he does. There's no question. But I'm talking about with the addition of Peavy and Burley and Danks and Floyd and Freddie Garcia. Actually, for the last 5 weeks, Freddie Garcia has been the best pitcher on the staff.
Well, he had 1 bad outing. That was his first outing. And the other 6 have been terrific.
Been the best pitcher on the staff.
Well, the starting rotation looks like it's going to be very strong next year. And where the Sox are going to need some help, obviously, is going to be the bullpen. But we also have some pretty good young players to look forward to on a daily basis. And you would have to believe that this is an aberration for Alex Rios. Because you've got a 285 lifetime hitter.
Right.
Guy that's a 2-time All-Star, came over here and is having all kinds of trouble.
Well, he came here at a bad time. He came here, we're in the hunt at the time he arrived. The offense was not doing anything. He jumped in, tried to do too much as Guerrero take care of that, 2 outs. So it was really a tough time for Alex to join this particular ball club. Everybody was scuffling offensively. And you know what's going to happen. You've seen it for 42 years, now seen it for 50. When that happens, a guy's going to try to do too much.
And in this game, where you have history to fall back on, if you've been in the league for any number of years, when you are a lifetime 285 hitter, the average season is going to find you plus or minus 7 points on either side of that number. And Alex has come over here hitting 155.
Yeah.
We're going to see a different Alex Rios in spring training. We're going to see a different Alex Rios next season. And he's going to do a whole lot to shore up the defense in center field.
And we're going to see one of the bright new stars in this game for a full year in Gordon Beckham. I'll tell you who else is going to get better as well. Chris Getz. He is a solid player. Jason Nix has got tons of talent. Off the end of the bat, into right field. Kubel is there. And that's a 1-2-3 quiet inning here in the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. It is not good. After the game, stay tuned for US Cellular White Sox postgame live. You'll see all the highlights. Get Bill Melton's analysis, plus listen in on Ozzy's postgame remarks. Don't miss US Cellular White Sox postgame live immediately following the game, right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Carlos Torres comes into the game at 1-1, ERA .635. This is his first appearance out of the bullpen. He's made 4 previous appearances. They've all been starts.
Delman Young takes ball 1. High in the center field. Young now 0 for 4. Here's Jose Morales. He is 1 for 4. Watch out. Carlos. Ball hit down to Casey. There's another guy I'm hopefully looking forward to being a key component to this ball club in 010.
Well, Ozzy's on record as saying he'd love to have him back.
That man is a player. That man is a professional, and he is terrific in the clubhouse. As Tolbert takes it down and in. Gordon. And that'll do a nice inning for Carlos Torres, but we'll go to the bottom of the ninth, 7-0 Minnesota.
Bobby Keppel comes in 7-0. It's been all Twins tonight. And there's a look at Keppel, who's 0-1, ERA tick under 5, on for the 30th time.
So here we go. It'll be Kotsay, Guy, and Quentin. And no, Wise has come out on deck to hit for Jermaine.
Lexi Casillas taken over at second base.
Mark is 2 for 2. 2 hard singles his first 2 at bats. Then he popped up to left field in the 6th. That ball nailed. That's a hang woof'em for Kotsay.
Wayne Wise will get his first at bat of the night.
Dwayne hitting for Jermaine, who was 0 for 3 tonight. Takes it outside. Dwayne went right through that one. 21. Tomorrow night, Johnny Dykes against Jeff Manship. And that game over WCIU. There's the strike. And on Wednesday evening, Mark Burley against Brian Dunsing. Dunsing, the southpaw, who has really been pitching well for the Twinkies. And that game over Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Another ball hit hard, right to Kubel, 2 down.
This one should be lined at Young in left field.
Carlos singles his first at bat, grounded to third in the 4th, and went out deep to center in the 7th. Carlos, after having that bad foot problem, just never could get it going. There's a chopper, 3-hopper, nice pick by Cabrera, and this ball game is over. So the Twins come in here, and for the 13th time this year, our club gets shut out as the Twins win at 7-0. And as I said, the bright spot